For more on this, let's bring in California Republican Congressman Darrell Issa. He is a member of the House Judiciary Committee, the Foreign Affairs Committee, and the Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government. This IRS whistleblower, we don't know the name of this person yet. He or she is looking for some protections from Congress before testifying. But the whistleblower suggests that family connections, political power are protecting Hunter Biden. Do you see it that way?
We not only see it that way, but we've seen it that way before. You might remember the name Lois Lerner, who was very much politically leaning in her efforts for years to thwart conservative groups from even getting their IRS number. So we've seen it before. In this case, we haven't seen the linking of the IRS to the Department of Justice. And of course, that's particularly concerning with the Attorney General being at the center of two separate violations. One would be the IRS and pushing back, but also the fact that he was a campaign operative, if you will, early on, just as Mike Morrell very clearly pointed out that he only signed that document, one of 50 people who signed it, for two reasons. One, he wanted Biden to win, he's unapologetic, and the other is that it had already been pushed by now Secretary Blinken, and so he said, oh, I'll be one more.
Yeah, here you've got the guy who is now our Secretary of State, accused of engineering this letter that described the Hunter Biden laptop as a Russian disinformation. That's a disinformation campaign all in and of itself.
Well, and John, there's one more thing that's not in those two parts in the news, and that is that as soon as they got in, through the Secretary of State's office, they began, if you will, creating disinformation organizations that supposedly were going to stop disinformation, but actually just stop conservatives from being heard.
I have to wonder if there isn't some kind of Democrat deep state at work. You know, in the same week that the Democrat mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, is criticizing the Biden administration heavily for its border policies and for the number of illegal migrants who have come to New York City, you've also got these Hunter Biden laptop stories and the IRS whistleblower. It almost seems like you've also got Robert Kennedy actually announcing his run for office. Seems like a lot of Democrats all of a sudden don't want Joe Biden to run again.
Well, clearly he doesn't have the support of the American people or the majority of his party. But what he also has is he has a time bomb ticking that his cabinet officers can only forestall the inevitable prosecution and conviction of his son and perhaps him. So time's running out.
The district attorney in New York wanted to keep an ex-prosecutor of his from testifying in front of the Judiciary Committee. Now he's withdrawn that appeal. What do you make of that?
Well, there was a scathing 35-page report from the district judge who made it very clear that you can't claim some sort of privilege after somebody's printed a book and gone on television, and that's what makes this particular effort so preposterous.
So it seems like the sort of scandals or the bad news, let's put it that way, is piling up for the Biden administration these days.
Well, the fact that we now can push back and make people aware of actual use of government power to thwart the other party and people who agree with the other party, that's giving us some ability to get the American people aware of just how bad it can be and how, quite frankly, the Democrats are trying to create a situation in which they stay the one party in charge forever.
So there are, allegations of maybe impropriety or improper conduct by the Attorney General and the Secretary of State. I mean, two of the highest level cabinet officials that there are. It just boggles the mind, I guess, as to what other shoes might drop here.
Well, I'm just old enough to remember in my youth the term Watergate, and as old as it is, there are parallels here in the way that this is a campaign misconduct that now is turning into a cover-up by the administration.
Yeah. Do you expect that there will be charges filed against Hunter Biden? The Delaware District Attorney has had this case since 2018. The world didn't find out about it until 2020, which just happened to be, an election year.
Well, if it were you or me or anyone else we know, we already would have pled to something, because he doesn't have a leg to stand on when he clearly hid about $4 million of income, about $1.8 million in taxes. There's no easy way to put it. You and I would not be getting away with it. We'd already have served our sentence by now.
Yeah. California Congressman Darrell Issa, good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.